You've heard that protein is important. But what happens when you don't get enough of it? And not just over months, but even after just a few days. It's actually more serious than you may think, especially if you're recovering from cancer, struggling with low energy, or you're just on a mission to be stronger and healthier. Everyone's talking about protein lately. The best kinds, the worst kinds, how to sneak it into your morning coffee. And for good reason. We're finally realizing how important protein is for us, and that most people don't get enough of it. So today I'm going over what really happens inside your body when you don't get enough protein, how to easily add more of it to your diet, and why getting this right can make a big difference in your health and how you feel. And I want to start with one of the less obvious but most dangerous side effects. You start losing muscle, and it can happen fast. The more muscle you have, the more energy you have, and the better you feel, right? But muscle is also what powers your immune system. It balances your blood sugar. It regulates your hormones. It helps you to heal after an injury or an illness. It literally keeps you alive. So when we don't eat enough protein, your body starts stealing protein straight from your muscles to keep your vital organs running, like your brain and your lungs and your heart. And this muscle breakdown can begin surprisingly fast, sometimes even just within a few days. Especially if you're not exercising or your body's under stress from an illness, you can lose muscle even faster. Now, you likely won't notice muscle loss at first. Some people might even think it's a good thing, like, hey, I lost 5 pounds. But the scale won't tell you what you lost, and if it's mostly muscle, that's a problem. Now, the second thing that happens when you don't get enough protein is your immune system suffers. Most people think that supporting their immune system means taking a vitamin C or zinc supplement, but the truth is, your immune system is literally made of protein. Antibodies, made of protein. White blood cells, protein. The enzymes that attack viruses, protein. So without enough of it, your immune system may go down and you might get sick more often, or take longer to bounce back. So as you can imagine, if you're recovering from cancer, this matters even more. This is when your body needs a steady supply of protein to heal and recover from harsh treatments, or your recovery could drag out longer than it needs to. Now, whether you're a cancer survivor or not, having just a few protein shakes here and there a few times a week won't cut it. We need protein every single day. When you don't eat enough protein, your bones take a hit too. Your bones need protein, not just calcium. Calcium is like the bricks of your bones, but collagen, which is protein, is like the cement holding the bricks together. So if your protein intake is too low, your bones can slowly get weaker without any noticeable symptoms until you fall and fracture your wrist from something simple like tripping over the carpet. And if you've been through chemo or hormone therapy, these treatments can really affect your bone density, making this even more important. Now listen to this. Even if you're taking a calcium and vitamin D supplement to support your bones, you can't absorb the calcium into your bones as well without protein. It's like showing up to a construction site with all the materials but no crew to assemble them. So while you may not immediately notice your bones getting weaker or your muscle mass shrinking, you will notice more obvious signs of a protein deficiency, like how much energy you have. Without enough protein, your blood sugar becomes harder to control. You see, protein helps to slow down how quickly carbohydrates are digested. That means instead of your blood sugar spiking and then crashing after you eat, protein helps it to rise more slowly and steadily so that you can have energy longer after your meal. So it makes sense that if your meals are mostly just carbs and fat, like a big plate of pasta, it'll send your blood sugar through the roof. First comes a big burst of energy right after you finish eating, and then it comes crashing down hard. And with it comes cravings for sugar or snacks or coffee to pick you back up. And it's exhausting. If you're riding a blood sugar roller coaster all day, no amount of sleep or caffeine can fix how tired you'll feel. What you really need is more protein throughout the day. Because it's not just about your body feeling tired, your brain feels it too. Protein provides the amino acids that create dopamine and serotonin, the feel-good chemicals that regulate your energy, mood, and motivation. So low protein equals low brain power. And a simple shift, like starting your day with some Greek yogurt or some protein powder in your smoothie, instead of just cereal or toast, can change how you feel for the entire day. So you may be wondering, how much protein do I actually need? So the official recommendation is to eat around 1 gram of protein for every kilogram of body weight. But if you're really active, or you're healing from surgery or cancer treatment, or if you're just trying to build muscle and speed up your metabolism, you're going to need more, around 1.5 grams for every kilogram of body weight. For example, if you weigh 70 kilograms, aim to eat somewhere between 70 to 100 grams of protein a day. That might sound like a lot, but when you space it out between 3 meals, that's roughly 30 grams per meal. Totally doable. So let's say breakfast is 2 eggs, whole grain toast, or avocado. Lunch could be a salad with grilled chicken, and you can throw in some nuts or pumpkin seeds for extra protein. 30 to 35 grams easy. And then maybe for dinner you have some grilled salmon with lentils and broccoli. That's another 30 grams of protein. And I'm not saying you need to obsess over these numbers, just focus on adding some solid sources of protein to each meal. And trust me, if you do this, you'll feel it in your energy levels. Now, let's talk about where to actually get healthy sources of protein. So basically, there's animal-based protein and plant-based protein. Animal-based is obviously eggs, fish, chicken, beef. And this type of protein is what we call complete. And that means it gives you all the essential amino acids that your body needs to build muscle, repair tissue, and support your hormones and brain. Animal protein is also super easy for your body to absorb and use. Now, plant-based protein, like lentils, beans, tofu, nuts, they're all great too, but they're mostly incomplete protein. They're usually missing at least one amino acid, and your body doesn't absorb it quite as easily. That doesn't mean it's bad protein. It just means that if you're only eating plant-based, you need to be a little bit more intentional. You've got to mix it up, like have tofu and nuts together in your salad to get the full amino acid profile. Now, you may have also heard that it can actually be dangerous to eat too much protein. And yeah, it absolutely can be. I know, it feels like we just can't win, right? So when it comes to going overboard with protein, there are 2 main concerns worth discussing: IGF-1 and kidney strain. First off, protein, especially from red meat or dairy, can increase a hormone called IGF-1. And it's not a bad thing. It plays a key role in muscle growth and repair, so it can help you to recover and stay strong. But if you're consistently eating too much animal protein, your IGF-1 levels can stay chronically high, and that can be a problem if you have underlying health conditions like chronic inflammation or insulin resistance, which most people don't even realize they have. And this is because IGF-1 doesn't just help your healthy cells to grow, it can also fuel the growth of abnormal or precancerous cells, if the environment is right. So that's why some studies have linked chronically elevated IGF-1 levels to an increased risk of certain types of cancer. But just to be clear, protein is not the bad guy here. It really depends on your overall lifestyle, your levels of inflammation, and how well your metabolism is working. One of the best ways to keep your IGF-1 levels in a healthy range is to keep your insulin levels low. And how do you do that? Well, intermittent fasting, or even just taking longer breaks between eating, is one of the best ways to keep your blood sugar balanced and your insulin levels in check. Now let's talk about kidney strain. Whenever you eat protein, your body breaks it down and it creates some waste products like urea and ammonia. And your kidneys are responsible for filtering those out of your blood and flushing them out through your pee. So if your kidneys are healthy, no problem. That's literally what they're designed to do. But if you're eating large amounts of protein regularly, and especially if it's from protein shakes, processed meats, or a high animal protein diet, it does put extra strain on your kidneys over time. And what makes this even worse is if you have diabetes, or high blood sugar, or kidney disease. Those are already major risk factors for kidney damage. And the tricky part is that we don't realize this damage is happening at first. Kidney stress doesn't usually cause obvious symptoms right away. It can quietly chip away at your kidney function in the background until it becomes a much bigger problem. So does this mean protein is dangerous? No, not at all. At the end of the day, if you're healthy, don't be afraid of protein. But as with everything else, don't overdo it. It's not protein that's risky. It's the environment in your body that determines how it affects you. And if you're trying to navigate life after cancer treatment, your body's been through a lot. And you've likely lost some muscle mass in the process for several different reasons, like treatment side effects, appetite loss, nausea, fatigue, or even just not being as active as usual. But you can slowly rebuild that muscle just by making sure you're eating enough protein every day and staying active. And now you know that eating enough protein isn't just to stay strong, but it's also to strengthen your immune system and your brain health. And if you're over 40, this matters even more. So check out this video next, and I'll see you next week.